Eryn Bent is a classically trained singer and songwriter who uses her deep understanding of music to create introspective and autobiographical folk songs of the highest quality. We're glad to have her here tonight to talk about her latest single, What I Crave, her musical inspirations, and her upcoming performances. Eryn, thank you so much for coming out and talking with me this evening. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I want to start by asking where your love of music came from. I mean, how was Eryn as a child when it came to music?
I grew up, my family my parents weren't musicians, but they were music appreciators, especially my dad. So I definitely was encouraged from a very early age. And I think I just fell in love with it from the time I was like wee little. And I remember being in love with, of course, like Disney stuff. And it was what really first moved me as a kid. And my family was really encouraging about it. So.
Well, I have to say, I know you're classically trained and taught. It's like your voice is like this intoxicating mix of like Martina McBride meets Sarah Brightman meets Nancy Wilson and Reba McEntire. Like there was just so much of a mix.
Thank you so much.
So I mean, how did you develop that voice? Did the training really just change it from what you thought it would be to something else, or?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I always think, I guess I feel like we always maybe think we can do something a lot better than we really can. Yeah. And I was maybe 13 or 14 when I first started vocal lessons, and I could carry like a pitch or like a tune, but once I started taking actual instruction, it definitely, like, you learn how to breathe, you learn how to like really sustain that voice. It really changed my little world. And that's so funny that you mentioned Sarah Brightman, because my first vocal lesson I ever went to, I brought what I wanted to sing, which was In Sync and Faith Hill. And my vocal coach warmed me up, and she was like, yeah, I'm going to give you a copy of Phantom of the Opera. And she did that, and then I listened to it and was blown away. And I from there, I was all in.
It's just that vibrato that I hear in some of your, I'm just like, who's that reminds? It's like Sarah Brightman. It was like, but with the classical training, it just, your voice just develops in a way that, I mean, it's really like, it's too many voices it's like you got 4 people up in there, but it creates some of the most catchiest, entertaining music. And congratulations that you just released a new single, What I Crave. So what is the story behind this song?
So this song's a lot. It actually is, I started kind of writing it based off of a memory that I had of me just kind of being small and probably for doing something wrong, was sitting in a corner and had to sit in a corner, and I would sing to myself, which is some of the lyrics in the song, but I would sing to myself all the time when I was younger, and I know my relatives would catch me doing that, and I was always a very musical child, but it really was a song I wanted to kind of write about, about my love for singing and for performing and stuff like that. When I was younger, I wrote a lot about heartbreak, and I think that's the easiest thing to write about, is like, this boy broke my heart. And so I wanted to write something that was like more of an anthem, I guess. Yeah, and that's where it came from.
Listening to all your song, just going through your catalog today, I mean, it seems like you really do draw from an inspiration of just what's happening in your life.
Yes.
So how is your process when it comes to songwriting?
It's changed throughout the years. When I was younger, songs used to just hit me kind of like little lightning bolts. But I feel like over time, like, I don't really sing a lot of those songs I wrote when I was real young, or like 14 or 15. But I think over time you just evolve by listening and kind of just playing and practicing, which people never want to hear.
Practicing. No, I just want it to happen.
Just
make it happen.
And then just listening to some other, female singer-songwriters that I really love and am influenced by helped a lot. But I guess I will kind of take like either a word or a phrase or a feeling and build a song around that, because it's really easy to get aimless, I guess, as a writer, and I do that pretty easily. So having just like an anchor of like maybe 3-4 words or a feeling or an emotion I want to portray helps a ton.
Well,
to
just talking about influences, I'm wondering, one, who are your musical influences, and being a New Mexico artist, what influences you when it comes to this state?
Ooh, that's a great question. So Sarah Brightman obviously was one of the first ones classically. Josh Groban was a huge influence of mine. I got to see him in Sweeney Todd in December.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second row. It was amazing.
My daughter's going to be very jealous right now.
Oh my God. It was really great. Yeah. Jewel was the first like singer-songwriter I heard when I was younger, and I was just struck in my spot. Tori Amos was another huge one. I got to see Tori this past year for the first time, and she's just really, I guess, like Sheryl Crow. Sarah McLachlan was a huge one, and then Taylor Swift, I guess, when she was early in her country days, and even now is an influence of mine. I listened to a little bit of Dierks Bentley, some Old Dominion. Alison Krauss was a huge was a huge influence of mine. But I do try and listen to definitely different genres than what I feel like I perform myself. But I'm super into, I guess, writers that kind of just lay their authentic self on the line. Joni Mitchell, totally, yeah. When I first came here back in 2005, what kind of struck me is that there is just this creative energy and a creative community in Santa Fe, Albuquerque. It's statewide, and really the state, to me, when I got here, it was magical. And so just being in and around the area is really inspiring, and there's a really supportive amount of people that really listen. There's also really other amazing musicians in and around this area that super inspiring, and it's a really supportive community, which I feel like sometimes you don't encounter, but it is. It's supportive. People are there. They're listening. It's great. Yeah.
So where can we expect to see you in the next year? What's coming up with shows, tours? What's happening?
So I'm playing, I guess, several times weekly now. You can see my show schedule on my website, and any of the social media links that I have there. I'll be playing this weekend at the Knuckles Brewing locations in Santa Fe, which they have one on the rail yard and then one in Lamy. I'll be in Los Alamos a little recently. The full band will be playing a show in Los Alamos in April, and then I'm planning a tour out in June. That'll be mostly West Coast, and Pacific Northwest, I guess, Montana.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're working on the East Coast for the fall, so yeah.
Yeah. So where can people find out more about you, your music, everything?
My website, of course, is a good place. I guess good old Google. You can Google Eryn Bent, and it'll throw you up a bunch of stuff. I do have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Eryn Bent Music. The website's probably the best place for that, and Instagram, of course, has become a hub for information. So.
Well, Eryn, thank you again for joining me tonight.
Thank you
It was
so much,
wonderful
Teresa.
to hear about how you started and your inspirations, and I'm just looking forward to what you're going to do for this upcoming year.
Thank you so much. Yeah, me too.
Thanks again. We'll be back.